Yes, guys, the following audio is based on Ireland's homelessness, which what's attempting to govern the country has no intention of solving Ireland's homelessness anytime soon. The number of people in emergency homeless accommodation across Ireland has increased to a record high of 15,286 according to the latest government figures. This unwelcome statistic came as Housing Minister James Brown appeared to roll back on a Lisbon Declaration commitment to end homelessness by 2030. The most recent data shows 10,683 adults and 4,603 children were accessing emergency accommodation during the last full week of January. The adult figure is above the previous record of 10,541 seen last November, while the figure for children is just short of the previous all-time high of 4,658 in the same month. It reverses a dip in the numbers for December that were reported last month, reflecting an almost annual trend where the figures ease over the Christmas period before climbing again once that period is over. In general, the number of people accessing emergency accommodation has been increasing steadily from about 8,000 in mid-2021. The statistics do not include people sleeping rough, those who may be couch surfing or homeless in hospitals or prisons, or those who are in shelter for asylum seekers or domestic violence centres. Mr. Brown's predecessor and Fianna Fáil colleague, Darragh O'Brien, wanted to eradicate homelessness through the Housing for All strategy. However, speaking yesterday, the new minister said he would not be making a similar pledge. The only promise he can make is to do the very best. That's what he said. I don't want anybody in homelessness. We want to ensure that we can get to that point, but it's really challenging. Supply is the only real solution to ending homelessness. But why aren't they doing it, guys? The recent figures show the number of people in emergency accommodation for the week he took office. The figures for his first full month of office, February, will not be revealed until the end of this month. The commitment is to get that homeless figure down as quickly as possible, but there won't be a specific timeline in relation to it, he said. Pressed on whether there was no longer a pledge to end homelessness, he said the commitment from him is to end homelessness. That's where we want to get to. In terms of dates or anything like that, we're examining all of that and how we can get there. But projections and dates are not going to deliver a single apartment. Social Democrats TD Rory Hearn said there were 4,000 homeless families last year, which was an increase of 22%, and it was the most urgent area for action. But if it's the most urgent area for action, Rory, that's in government opposition, should be pushing the issue home to address Ireland's serious homelessness crisis. We need an intervention on family homelessness, he said, speaking outside the door last Friday He said, what does it say about a country when more than 4,600 children can end up in emergency accommodation? God love them children. Both his party and Sinn Féin have called for the immediate restoration of the ban on no-fault evictions. Sinn Féin Housing spokesperson Owen Vrian said, this is the highest number of people since these records began. It's beyond the previous high of November last year. There have been increases across all categories of homelessness: adults, children, families, single people and pensioners. And it continues a very, very worrying trend we saw under the previous minister and government. The report comes only hours after Minister James Brown effectively threw in the towel on what was a key government commitment: ending long-term homelessness by 2030. So that tells you guys that it's not going to be achieved by 2030, and doubtful that it will even be achieved in 2040. But he pointed out that wording was in the programme for government just agreed. He has to say he thinks it's deeply disappointing, which it is possible to end long-term homelessness and the need to sleep rough by 2030 if the right policy measures are put in place. There's no point in saying it if there's nothing being done about it. The fact that the minister neither has the will nor the wherewithal to do that just shows that the government is effectively accepting the fact that homelessness is going to continue to rise, and he thinks that's utterly shameful. Mr. Rory Hearn said the figures were especially disappointing when there are 88,000 vacant homes around the country. Evictions from the private rental sector are the main cause of homelessness, and family homelessness in particular, he said. There is a measure you can implement immediately that doesn't require waiting for supply to come on stream. It is to implement a no-fault evictions ban. For example, in Belgium, you cannot be evicted from the private rental sector if you have nowhere to go. In his opinion, he thinks that's an immediate emergency measure that could be brought in. So bring it in. Homelessness charities also expressed disappointment in the seasonal reversal of the figures. Focus Ireland CEO Pat Denigan said, it is crucial that the government does not just give up. It is still possible to turn things around and achieve significant goals, like ending long-term homelessness by 2030. The minister also said private investment and financing were necessary to reach housing targets, but added that he was yet to meet with any institutional investors. Asked if he had any concerns that housing delivery would be lower this year than last, he said it is very early to be getting into that kind of predictions. But it's not too early at all, guys, because it should be. It's a shame the amount of people that's in Ireland's home that are homeless in Ireland. It can be any one of us at any given time. But fuck me if what's attempting to govern the country has no intentions to force it through and try and do something about it within a few short years. What's the point in even having these attempting to govern the country? They themselves is number one priority. Their wealth is also a priority, in preference to anything else for the public. there are solutions, guys, but due to Ireland's silent population, these solutions will never happen. Unfortunately, and it has always been Ireland's downfall since the alleged foundation of the Irish state, we always had a silent population, which they, along with what's attempting to govern the country over the past century, are the major cause of all Ireland's problems. Okay, guys, just said I would bring you that audio and let you have a listen to it and form your own opinion on that afterwards. All right, guys, we'll talk to you. Good luck.